What's up, Dub Nation? If you're a Golden State Warriors fan and want to stay up to date with all the team's news, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This helps a lot to strengthen our work and ensures you don't miss any updates. Now let's get to the news. The NBA has been shaken by one of the most impactful moves in recent times. Jimmy Butler made a decision that caught many by surprise, completely shifting the balance of the league. But did he really make the best choice? The trade that sent Butler to the Golden State Warriors transformed the NBA landscape and frustrated some fans, especially those of the Memphis Grizzlies. For much of the season, it seemed like Memphis could be a viable destination for Butler, as the team was coming off a promising campaign. However, that possibility never materialized. Reports indicate that Butler never showed interest in playing for Memphis. From the start of negotiations, it was clear that he did not consider that option. And in the end, he landed in San Francisco. His arrival at the Warriors was immediately felt, giving the team a new boost. Before the trade, the Stephen Curry-led squad wasn't seen as a top title contender. But with Butler on the roster, the team's performance skyrocketed. They started racking up wins, recording an impressive 16-3 record since his arrival. The impact of Butler's arrival goes beyond the numbers. The gap between the Warriors and the Grizzlies, which previously seemed significant, has drastically narrowed. But why exactly did Butler avoid Memphis? According to former Grizzlies player Tony Allen, it all comes down to the city's culture. In a recent interview, Allen explained that big stars generally prefer playing in major markets like Miami, Los Angeles, and New York. These cities offer greater visibility and more commercial opportunities. Memphis, on the other hand, has built its NBA identity around collective effort and a fighting spirit. The team has always had a blue-collar mentality, something that doesn't always attract the league's biggest names. And this wasn't the first time a high-profile player rejected the Grizzlies. Years ago, Andre Iguodala also chose not to wear the franchise's jersey. But was Butler's choice solely about market size and exposure? Or did he see the Warriors as a legitimate chance to compete for another NBA title? The Memphis Grizzlies have a talented squad, but their playoff performance has been inconsistent in recent years. Meanwhile, the Golden State Warriors have a winning history and have proven they know how to compete at the highest level. Butler recognized this. If his goal was to win another championship, it made sense to join a team with experience and a championship mindset. The ripple effect of this trade is still unfolding. Before Butler's arrival, Golden State was seen as a competitive team, but far from being a favorite. Now, with him on the roster, other NBA teams will need to rethink their strategies. The balance of the Western Conference has shifted dramatically, and opponents will have to deal with a new threat in the title race. Buddy Hield's future with the Golden State Warriors is uncertain. With the off-season approaching, it's becoming increasingly evident that significant changes may be on the way. But is the franchise willing to part ways with one of its top shooters? So far, the Warriors' exact plan remains a mystery. However, Bleacher Report journalist Dan Favale has already made his prediction. The team may be ready to move on without Hield. The 32-year-old player was brought in to play a crucial role in the Warriors' offensive system. His mission was clear: provide perimeter firepower and complement Stephen Curry's game. Initially, it seemed like Hield was up for the challenge. In the first months of the season, he put up solid numbers. In October, he hit 50% of his three-point attempts, and in November, he maintained an excellent 41.4% shooting percentage. These numbers excited fans and led many to believe that Golden State had found a key piece for its offense. However, Hield's consistency didn't hold up throughout the season. In December and January, his performance plummeted. His three-point shooting percentage dropped drastically to 30.5% and 31.5% respectively. For a team that built its identity around perimeter shooting, this decline is a serious problem. To stay competitive, a team like the Warriors needs reliable shooters who can maintain strong percentages throughout the season. Hield, despite a partial recovery in February and March, when he raised his shooting percentage to around 37%, still hasn't fully regained the trust of the coaching staff and management. Given this situation, the Warriors may be considering other options. Players like Cameron Johnson and Michael Porter Jr. are emerging as potential free agency targets, offering not only consistent shooting, but also a stronger defensive presence. And that's the big question. Should the Warriors keep betting on Hield, or is it time to find a new piece for the roster? Hield's contract, valued at $9.2 million, isn't difficult to move. This means the franchise has the flexibility to trade him and explore new market opportunities. Golden State has already shown it isn't afraid to make bold decisions to stay competitive, and Hield's departure could be just another step in this restructuring. Another factor that could influence this decision is the team's financial situation. With high-value contracts already taking up salary cap space, management might opt for The upcoming offseason promises major changes, and Hield's future with the Warriors is far from certain. If he doesn't prove his worth in the final games of the season, it's very possible that Golden State will look for a more reliable replacement. If the Warriors really decide to part ways with Buddy Hield, the big question will be, who can take his place and fill that gap in the roster? The team needs a player who can contribute offensively without compromising the defense, something that Hield, despite his qualities as a shooter, has not been able to do consistently. Cameron Johnson, for example, emerges as an interesting name on the market. The Brooklyn Nets forward has a solid track record in three-point shooting and offers more defensive versatility than Hield. Moreover, his height and wingspan allow him to guard players across multiple positions, which could be extremely valuable for the Warriors. Another viable option is Michael Porter Jr., who, despite his injury history, has proven to be an efficient shooter and a player capable of scoring in different situations. With the Warriors, he could play a role similar to the one he had with the Denver Nuggets, a forward who can stretch the floor and punish defenses that double-team Curry. However, the decision to replace Hield won't be based solely on on-court performance. The financial aspect also plays a big role. The Warriors have an extremely high payroll, and depending on their moves, they may need to create cap space to strengthen other positions. Additionally, one crucial point cannot be ignored. Stephen Curry is in the later stages of his career, and the Warriors can't afford to waste time with players who don't fit perfectly into their system. Every passing season is one less opportunity to compete for a championship while Curry is still playing at an elite level. Given this scenario, the franchise needs to be surgical in its decisions. If Hield fails to deliver reliable performances in the playoffs, his departure may become inevitable. Most importantly, the Warriors must ensure that any replacement is a real upgrade for the roster. Golden State has shown many times that it is not afraid to make bold moves to stay competitive. But with the core of the team aging, the franchise is under increasing pressure to find solutions to remain a title contender. The arrival of Jimmy Butler was a big step in that direction. But is it enough? Behind the scenes in the NBA, there are rumors that the Warriors are not done making moves and may still be exploring new trade possibilities to strengthen the roster. With a team that already has Curry and Butler as its main references, the question now is, what is the final piece to turn this team into an undeniable title contender? One name that could enter the Warriors' radar is Pascal Siakam. The power forward is a player who could add a lot to the team's system, bringing defense, mobility, and scoring ability in the paint. His presence would allow Butler and Curry more offensive freedom while adding a versatile defender to the squad. Another possibility would be pursuing a dominant center, as the Warriors' front court has been a weak point in recent years. Players like Jarrett Allen or even Miles Turner could be intriguing options. Both are solid defenders, rim protectors, and possess skills that would complement the Warriors' perimeter game. The big question, however, is what the Warriors would be willing to offer in return. The franchise has already made a significant investment to bring in Butler, and any new move may require sacrifices. Would a young talent need to be included in a deal? Or could the franchise acquire reinforcements without compromising its future? What seems certain is that the Warriors won't just sit back and wait for things to happen. If there's a real opportunity to improve the roster and maximize their championship chances, the front office will likely take action. Looking at the current NBA landscape, the competitiveness in the Western Conference is at an all-time high. Teams like the Denver Nuggets, Phoenix Suns, and even the rising Oklahoma City Thunder are getting stronger, and the Warriors know they must keep evolving to avoid falling behind. This offseason promises to be intense, and how the Warriors' move could define the team's destiny for the coming seasons. The Golden State Warriors may be far from completing their moves, and every step the franchise takes will be crucial in determining the team's future in the coming years. The arrival of Jimmy Butler has brought a new dynamic to the team, but is that enough to guarantee another ring? Looking at the current roster, there are still some gaps that need to be filled. Although Butler brings an immediate impact, the team still needs reinforcements in the paint and perimeter defense. Modern NBA demands versatility, and teams that can balance offense and defense tend to perform better in the playoffs. In addition to potential trades, another factor that may influence the Warriors' future is the development of younger players. Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, and Trace Jackson-Davis have already shown flashes of talent, but will they be able to take the necessary leap to contribute consistently? The Warriors have historically struggled to develop young talent while contending for titles. The dilemma between betting on the youngsters or seeking ready-made players has always been present in the franchise. Recently, we've seen how players like Jordan Poole have had ups and downs within this system, but with Curry still at a high level and Butler adding a new layer of competitiveness, the Warriors can't afford to wait too long. The front office will need to decide whether to trust in the growth of the young players or go after another piece in the market. Another important aspect to consider is the impact this new formation can have in the playoffs. The Warriors' style of play has always been based on ball movement, quick shots, and defensive intensity. The addition of Butler brings a new element, a player who can create his own shot in clutch moments, something the team had been missing. However, this also requires adjustments. Butler is not an elite shooter like other players who have passed through the franchise, and the Warriors will need to find ways to maintain offensive fluidity around him. This means the other players on the team will have to adapt and elevate their game. Another point to observe is how this new formation performs against the powerhouses in the Western Conference. The Denver Nuggets remain one of the most well-built teams in the league, with Nikola Jokic running the offense masterfully. Will the Warriors have an answer for the size and strength of the Nuggets? The Phoenix Suns, despite some inconsistencies, still have a star trio with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal. Can the Warriors' new scheme contain this offensive firepower? And what about the Los Angeles Lakers? Although they have gone through ups and downs, they still have LeBron James and Anthony Davis, who can be decisive in a 7-game series. If the Warriors truly want to return to the top of the NBA, they need to be prepared to face these teams in a long and difficult playoff journey. And for that, every detail matters. The NBA market is always changing, and the Warriors' front office needs to stay active, not only regarding potential trades, but also in how the team prepares and adjusts throughout the season. Sotto is one of those names that sparks curiosity and anticipation in the basketball world. At just 22 years old, the young Filipino has already built an impressive career, and now there's the possibility that he will don the Golden State Warriors jersey. But is he really ready to face the biggest challenge of his career? Professional basketball in the United States is not just a test of talent, but a real battleground where only the best manage to establish themselves. For Kai, the adaptation will be essential. The speed of the game, the physical demands, and the defensive intensity of the NBA are completely different from any other league he has played in. Even for athletes with great potential, the transition period can be brutal. However, Sotto has something that grabs attention, a rare combination of height, skill, and offensive versatility. He's not just a towering center who protects the paint. His offensive game also has nuances that could make him a valuable player. What still needs to be tested is how he will handle opponents who are far more experienced, athletic, and prepared than those he's faced so far. If he is indeed signed by the Warriors, the impact of his arrival will go beyond the courts. The Bay Area has a significant Filipino community that is passionate about basketball. Kai's presence could turn the Chase Center into a cauldron of energy, with Filipino fans cheering on every play. This emotional and cultural factor cannot be ignored, as the NBA has been increasingly focused on expanding its global influence. Beyond the cultural aspect, Kai Sotto's presence with the Warriors also represents a business opportunity for the franchise. The NBA has already recognized the value of international players in terms of marketing and fan engagement around the world. Kai has the potential to attract a huge fan base, which could further boost the Warriors' brand in Asian markets. However, there's a big but in this equation. Is he ready for this responsibility? Breaking into the rotation of a team like the Golden State Warriors is not easy. The team, accustomed to contending for titles, needs players who can contribute immediately. This means Kai will have to prove himself quickly, showing that he can compete against the best. The Warriors' track record with talent development could work in his favor. Under the guidance of an experienced coach and established players, Kai could develop his game and fix his weaknesses. But at the same time, every roster spot is fiercely contested. If he doesn't meet expectations quickly, the space for his development could be very limited. So, Dub Nation, did you enjoy the news? Then leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any details about our Golden State Warriors. Drop a comment with your thoughts and share it with other fans. Thanks, and see you next time.